Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 128th episode of our first run. I hope it's 128. Yes, it should be 128th episode of our first run through the House of Light expansion for Book of Hours, playing as the Archaeologist. I'm System Chalk. We are finishing up the day, so we have opened up the Hidden Stair, and we will be about to open up the Room of Rusts. We are a bit behind on talking with Isin Fekri. Now, that may get in the way of sending out the invitations for the Salon in time, although in practice, I don't think that will... I don't think that's going to have too much... I don't think there will be too many consequences in terms of what I can get done in the Salon. I probably should have had think about whether or not I wanted to commit any elements of this, or sorry, any skills to get elements of the soul to the Tree of Wisdoms. Maybe we'll save that closer to the time. I suppose in the worst case, I just, I make the decision in the moment. It did also occur to me that I've got more than one pot of tea up here, so I probably could have made Blue Crown tea for Wakefield, but that's fine. I'll stick with what we've got here. Now, I have a feeling that I should be doing something with this metal right now. It's a little funny. I guess maybe I was going to use it with transformations and liberations. Either way, that'll be resolved in 2.5 seconds. Everything else, just we're waiting for the timers to run down. Oh, hang on. Yes, the sweet bones. Okay, so let's go fixing and mending. There's not much work on offer in Brandkrug, but I can find 6 pence worth of odd jobs. And we kind of have enough Solomon's preparation. Now, I can't always turn that into Nillikant, I suppose. But I was debating, do I, given the time that I have left, do I want to try and turn this Whist into some kind of... some kind of object. I think what I will do here, so I do want to take care of the abandoned package. Maybe I'll use the Whist to make Solomon's preparation. Part of the motivation behind that really is just so that I can clear out the all the stuff that I've got up here. So muddle and mix a wintry preparation. And I think I'm going to use the shaft to make a... Actually, it doesn't have to be just shaft. It could be just about anything. But I think I'm actually going to make another amethyst ampule, even though I have lots of them. I don't think it would hurt to prep that, because I can see myself needing more Gervanite in a little while. But let's just make sure that we commit all the things that we need first. Okay, transformations and liberations. We'll lock that in. So satisfying to have come so far. Improve the skill to level 5. Alright, so that'll take 30 seconds. So in this case now we'll use the shaft to open up the packages. And then of course that means we don't get the amethyst ampule, but that's fine. That was nice to have. This tool has boosted their aspects appropriately. So they're up to 9. Again, we need 11, so we will use the Strathcoin whiskey that we had set aside. I can offer my assistant something to drink. The collector has collected a distillery, it seems. So this will turn into a cup of water right away for the salon. Okay, Hawthorne Blank is welcome. I'm not going to put too much effort into finding it a home, but here we go. I'm also trying to remember, so when we take the pilchards... Oh, I don't have I don't have something I can use for cooking. I'm trying to remember if it's possible to do something with the pilchards on their own. I believe you need to have either pilchards on toast or pickled pilchards. I don't think you can use them in isolation. Skill is now level 5. Its power aspects have also increased. Alright, let's get the last of the packages opened. Crack open the container. Delight in your discovery. Okay. One for me. I wanted to try and go a little bit closer to the salon here just so I can save myself the trouble. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drinks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 food items. What I should have probably done a little bit sooner, but I don't see there being a huge problem. I do want to actually get the invitations written. So that will be... I'll do this one at a time. So let's go... Douglas. Night has fallen. Dawn will come soon. I should have a thought about... I guess I only have one memory that I can keep. So dream on a memory. Now that night has fallen, I can rest and perhaps dream on the day's doings. So we really want to smarten up with the miner here. So we've got the... We have the ability to open the room, so we should take it. Room of rusts. The ceiling is collapsed. Rusting machinery pokes out here and there through the rubble. We've got the invitation to Douglas written. And then the other thing is, now that the talk verb is open, we do want to make sure that we're following up with Isan Fekri before he leaves. So, Mr. Isan Fekri. Formerly, Isan was a healer. He was not human. He was Secretary Salvant of Hush House, but not all at the same time. Fussy, kind, famously foul to look upon. I've had my differences with the Bureau, but in general, I'm glad the duties have them. But this has gone very, very badly. I've been asked to conduct, might be an exorcism, might be more. I need to make sure I get this one right. So again, we need 4 heart or better, although usually I like to match the exact value. I don't think he knows Fusine anyway. So I was thinking there might be something... Okay, he's already read this, so he won't want it. Old material, he's already consulted this book. Oh, that's unexpected. Nothing's proof, eh, librarian? But I hope I now know how I might protect myself. Sorry, nothing's nothing proof, eh, librarian? But I hope... Sorry, I really should have pronounced that correctly. Nothing's nothing proof, eh, librarian? But I hope I know now how I might protect myself. But yeah, sorry, I was so focused on the heart. So that's the last of those that I can do with Isan. So it'll take us a minute. Again, we won't have the full day. Actually, it just occurred to me, it won't matter in terms of the invitations. So we're good there. I do, of course, still need to invite everybody, though. So we have got Fraser Strathcoin next. So this one... No, insects and nectars won't do. I remember there's one that works with this desk, and I can never remember which one it is. So, you know what, it's just as easy for me to put the typewriter at another desk. Then it's Daymare, Wakefield, and Olympi. And of course, at this point, we're not expecting anything else. We'll lose the snow, which, fair enough. But at this point, we're just kind of waiting for everything to finish, all the timers to finish working. Now I just need to post it. We'll see how far we can get with this one. So, Daymare's next. Actually, I may be coming up short on this one, because Great Signs, Great Scars needs Grail. Solutions and Separation also... Or, that one's Moth. Door on Walls Forge, Horns and Ivories... Well, maybe. I don't think that's high enough, though. Well, shows what I know. Wakefield's an obvious one because he's Winter. And then Olympi needs Forge. Or, hang on, Olympi's Taste is Forge, but I think she needs Moth. Anyways, doesn't matter because we're going to be focusing on Winter first. Let's see if we can get away with Mothy. Yeah, Inks of Revelation will do the trick there. I could theoretically just send these off right now, but there isn't a major reason for doing so. We're still not going to be able to host the salon until the afternoon anyway. Alright, a basket of towels, a suitable companion for bathing. I don't think I've ever gotten that before. Obviously I've seen the item, but I don't think I've gotten it in the, in one of the containers. What I'd really like is the newspaper, but haven't had much luck on that. Okay, so we have a little bit of rearranging to do. We've got a... And, okay, so we've started the new day, but let's get this properly handled. Actually, we're probably going to wind up climbing up higher with transformations and liberation, so we'll just put that up there. And then doesn't actually take us that much longer to move Auroral Contemplations. Although I guess Edict's Liminal is already locked in, so yeah, that'll do. Okay, so that's the order that I want. Now, we can send the invitations right away. I don't have a problem with that. I'll maybe, we know we have a surplus of shops, so I'll work with that. I think I'm going to resist the urge to hire anyone and move through the house today. I think the focus is going to be on the salon. Although, actually, I could still use somebody to generate memories, so we'll speak with... Or, yeah, we'll speak with Denzel. All right. Patience, thus the mountain awaits the fall of the snow, thus Monday awaits the death of the weekend, thus the postmistress waits for me to purchase the necessary stamp. I've carried a memory like a flambeau safe through the mazes of night. This will complete once dawn has come. So it just occurred to me this is the worst thing that I could be saving when I'm trying to get a salon underway, because of course the satisfaction is going to we're going to get that at the end. All right, bronze spin trio for my trouble. No, that's mean. All right, let's. The postmistress examines the letter and deems it sufficient. It'll go with the next post, she assures me. Okay, so again, we're just going to send these off. We haven't invited anybody on the basis of wanting to see the end result of a further story. So this is purely for getting the memories from the salon. We'll keep chatting with Denzel. Speak with Denzel. He might even reply. And we really don't know what the day is going to bring us. One thing that might be nice is if I could read a book with Forge in the to read pile. So The Burning Woman, which seems like a bit of a stretch right now. I mean, we're kind of getting up there with transformations and liberations, but we still need another 8. I guess another 6 after the medal, but it's a little, yeah, I think I'll leave that aside. So I'm more or less committing today to the salon and all the other activities surrounding it, which is going to be a little bit of a waste of the elements of the soul, but one that I think I can manage. I also didn't describe the room. So the upper pump room. See the pickaxe marks on the walls. Before the Sisterhood came to the Isle, the Romans or the Phoenicians dug these tunnels, scratching the ground for tin and gold. For centuries, those pumps kept the sea at bay, driven by slaves or votaries who saw the sun one day in 9. When those pumps fell silent, the sea crept in, until much later, the Curia brought in their own machines to open up the lower levels again. So this does open up a couple of other areas for me. So first of all, there is the flooded level. So this requires a 3 forge or 3 knock, but it also requires the event, the circumstance aspect. So something that is so, but only for now. Circumstances disappear in the season of Numa. Gleaming black water, still as bone. I'll need to find some way to lower the water level before I can descend. So as you might expect, the pumps, right? The Curia installed these pumps to drain the lower levels, but they installed them in the late 19th century. I'll need to provide suitable materials and fuel, and I'll need a prentice level of forge to jury-rig them. So in this case, any metal will do, but the fuel has to be liquid and has the fuel aspect. This does also open 2 other rooms. Both are interesting in their own ways. So we have the Silent Hall, which has 15 moth or 15 rows. This would be something that in most circumstances I would want to consider in summer because of the traveling barber. And then we also have the crystallized chamber, which with its 13 winter is the sort of thing that Mr. Kill is very well equipped to deal with. Now, we wouldn't do that today because we potentially need the whist. In fact, likely need the whist given that Wakefield's going to be part of the salon. We'd hold that off, but obviously this would be a good candidate for Mr. Kill to work with. And then, of course, the rest of this is, doesn't really change a whole lot. He does a lot with silence, this man. So we don't know what memories we need yet. We're really just talking with Denzel because it's nice to catch up. Oh yeah, we also have the charred chamber, so I could talk with Mr. Kill about that too. So yeah, definitely a few candidates in terms of opening up various rooms. Of course, they all cost money to hire. So as I used to say in my youth, the day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. And it is spring, and the landlady has served me a slice of her stargazy pie with the pilchard heads poking cheekily through the hot crust. Douglas has arrived. Fraser Strathcoyne has arrived. All right, so I think if I try to start the salon now, it'll just tell me that I'm too early. Yeah, a little early. One might only have lunch or supper after midday. It's always after midday somewhere. But I'm not too fussed about this. Again, we really can't take any concrete action, memories-wise at least, until after the after we know what lessons we're getting. Although I would like to, I sort of expected myself that I'm going to be doing a bit more with the elements of the soul. So for instance, we can do some gardening. Okay, before the Great Division, this was the 6th hour, when the priests led hymns to the sun and splendor. Now noon, as they say, is not as it was. Perhaps the new king will change that. We are inviting D.I. Douglas Moore, Detective Illuminate of the Suppression Bureau, a stoic but weary fellow. His dearest wish is to move to Chingford and grow roses, but the buggers won't let him retire. Mr. Fraser Strathcoyne, philanthropist, collector, former librarian, a complicated man, but not a cruel one. Damer, Grafin Frederike Dagmar Sophia Teresa Helena Begina von Nagelsberg, if you prefer. She doesn't. Mr. Zachary Wakefield, marksman, detective, renegade. He has always been a quiet man, but since he left the Suppression Bureau, he has grown even quieter and terribly still, except for his fingers and for his eyes, always in restless motion. And Madame Olympie Bichet, essayist, illustrator, critic, editor of the Carisham Review. And they will be enjoying roast beef. Our fathers of old were robust, stout, and strong, and kept open house with good cheer all day long, which made their plump tenants rejoice in this song. Oh, the roast beef of old England, and old English roast beef. Henry Fielding, The Grub Street Opera. Game chips. Long before fish and chips, these went crunchily with game. Ideally, you'd want bread sauce and bread crumbs to complete the ensemble, but honestly, it's hard enough not to just stuff these directly into your mouth. Orange jumble. They should be the size of teacup rims and should curl their crisp edges, faintly pink as the underneath of a young mushroom. Lady Jekyll, kitchen essays. A baked apple meringue. Harvey Haddington, during his convalescence at the house, was so obsessed with meringuing techniques that he was ultimately banned from the kitchen. And poached mackerel. We do not poach fish in Brandkrug without recalling the turbot crisis of 1786, when Dr. Westcott caught a prodigious turbot and required the kitchen to poach it for him without division, but no vessel of sufficient size could be found to poach it entire. At last they resorted to alchemical assistance. Mackerel, fortunately, requires no alchemy for its poaching. And for drinks, we've got Don Lion coffee from beyond the Great Deserts. Cater and Hero Second Flush Assam, tea from the land of the real unicorn, imported by Cater and Hero. Honeyscar Jasmine tea, soothing to the senses. Domaine Reveline, the Ravelines abandoned their lands, and yet someone is still making this wine. And Isle Water from Brandkrug's Deep Springs. My guests take their places for lunch. Keep an eye on the salon as it progresses. You will need to add soul cards to encourage the conversation to flow. Different guests will need different soul cards. The more guests, the longer the salon will last. Better now. So I don't normally like interrupting the salon, but in this case, I do kind of want to make up for some of the money that I spent on beef and whiskey. Lunch and supper last longer than less formal salons, allowing an extra interaction between your guests. Okay, we'll keep... Oh, no! I didn't want to do that, obviously. Ask about dreams. Add a FET card. So the problem with this one, of course, is that I potentially, if I need a winter or a scale, I've lost the use of that with Denzel now, but... Olympia is writing a novel where one of the characters owns a mining firm. She's hoping Fraser can help with her research. Fraser is desperately concerned about unnecessary publicity, although Olympia promises him that the character will not share his name, his appearance, or any of his biographical details. He does grudgingly agree to help out when Olympia confides that the protagonist is based on Azita. Okay, and for Coil and Chasm, so this is actually something we could potentially apply. I think this is in fact something that the hindsight would have been useful for. Oh well. Conversation ebbs and flows. Raise a complex question. Add a whist card. Limpy. Okay, here we go. Olympi is writing a novel where one of the characters is a criminal chemist specializing in acids and poisons. She's hoping Dagmar can help with her research. Dagmar is immediately wary and keeps insisting that she only knows about lemon juice and things. But once Olympi explains that the protagonist is based on coquille, she relaxes enough to discuss the properties of glassfinger toxin. I am liking this this thread. Lively chatter. Inject a little gaiety. Add a core card. In the meantime, we'll renew some of this. I have a name, Zachary says dispassionately, and another name. One of them is written only in Kilisimi. I will speak of it because you have invited me, but I will not speak of it because I am a guest. Oh, sorry, but I will not speak it. Speak of it, but not speak it because I am a guest. Mansa's Tales. Ask about dreams. Kind of want to see what the most ambitious memory I can go for here is. Or skill. Sorry. With the ghoulish camaraderie of two pensioners in a retirement home, Douglas and Dagmar discuss the details of their medical issues and their subsequent surgeries. So this is really the point where I need to commit to some memories here. Add a tryst card. Okay, regret. So I believe for surgeries and exsanguinations, we've already locked that in. Kilisimi is sort of a free card. Solutions and separations, I also believe we committed that. So really, it's just the coil and chasm which hasn't been applied to something. Now, again, I did have a bit of a sketch in terms of what we could use some of these for. So this one goes into Nyctodromy and Scolacosophy, but of course Nyctodromy is already sort of accounted for. So, I think I should just focus on that. Now the challenge here is that hindsight actually really did sort of inconvenience me. So let's do... So a Savage Hymn is one that won't get replaced. So I can live with that. And that needs Sabazine. And then for... I actually shouldn't be so ready to start throwing away elements of the soul like this, but there's a couple that I can afford to do that for, but it's not quite free reign yet. Yeah, the only real nectar I have to play with is Impulse, which, excuse me, Mr. Kill may generate. There's Denzel may generate, but then that's also true for Hindsight. So we'll do Ambrosial. But because we only need the 3... No, sorry, we need 4. So that answers that. I will also go for the hindsight then. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't have any great ideas about the moon and the... I mean, probably wouldn't hurt for me to try and level up some of the sand stories. But I don't know, I'll have a bit of a think. Olympia and Dagmar compare their experiences of getting drunk on Skinshuck mead. Both wonder whether they really changed shape or whether their spirits walked in the beast shape. Both agree that they'll only drink the stuff again in trustworthy company. So that's solutions and separate. So that's 2 solutions and separations that I have now. So this would be roughly the time that I would say it's like, okay, is there some sort of, you know, high level knock that I want to bring up? I do kind of have my eye on Auroral Contemplations, if I'm being completely honest. There are so many different options that I have in terms of where some of this can go. Now, I did have a bit of a goal with glass blowing and vessel crafting, so maybe I try and get a bunch of knock and sky stuff. I like that idea a lot, actually. So we've got 1 already. Let's just double check what we've got in terms of... I don't know if it's 1 or 2. But we should be able to afford at least 1. Okay, so let's say we can do the Matters and Deeds of Serpents for the knock. So that is 2 of 6 that I need. Three of 6. Four of 6. We can use health. Five of 6. And salt should seal the deal. I don't think I'll have time for anything else. So at this point we'll just wait on the... Oh, actually, that noise also tells me that I should be... I'm going to want to make sure I have something for Coil and Chasm, so let's set that one aside. Oh, this is... I'm going to try and keep close tabs on the times. We've got 9 seconds here. Okay. Don't feel like I can use this Tryst card right here, so... So we have enough time to... I think I'm just going to use as much of the FET as I can. And then I seem to recall we were... Was it Moth Orchid we were short on? I like to throw a little bit more at it, but again, we've got some limits in terms of what I can do with the time. Wistful asides, Dagmar is hectoring Douglas on Suppression Bureau overreach, but he just sits quietly smiling with his arms folded and every so often names another incident sinister enough to need Bureau intervention. Reims, or Revek, or Treowin, or the Wildwood Club. Each of these puts Dagmar on the back foot, but she rallies and explains why each in turn is different. This at least gives Douglas time to sip his drink or pack his pipe. And that gives us Edicts Inviolable. So there's a couple of good ones here for leveling up things that I want to level up. And then there's going to be a couple more freebies. A lively meal concludes. My guests leave happy. You've gained an additional potent memory. So not much we can do with... I believe we'll get the Curious Hunch again, but I don't think I haven't... Well, I don't have the lesson, so that won't matter. At this point here, we're just kind of waiting to get the lessons and see what we can turn into added levels. But I think at this point here, I was a little too late on the various texts. Okay, so this one's free. This one's free. These are free. This one I'm committing for sure. I'm trying to think if I need heart or knock more. I don't quite need to make this choice. It's not quite yet. Okay, well, tell you what. I know we've kind of had only 40-minute episodes for this week, so I'm going to get the remaining books that I need for Coil and Chasm. I'll commit that, and then hopefully between episodes I'll have a decent idea in terms of where I'd like to take things. Also, I'll wait the 0.1 seconds just to get the memory from Denzel. Okay, Unhatched Hymns. Hymns attributed to St. Lucia the Eyeless, patron of glassworkers and name of the hour called Meniscate. The hymns venerate every sanctioned hour, celebrating them as the sun undivided, but also suggesting that each hour may become the next, madrigad to watchman, watchman to wolf, and so on. The Hymn of the Phases celebrates the Meniscate from whom we do not turn, for the truth which is beauty, the beauty which is truth, and the most perfect balance between the two. The Hymn of the Reflections, more puzzlingly, celebrates the Meniscate as the sister of Janus, mother of shadow, whose visage wondrous in emptiness can reveal all truths. Ambrosial. Ambrose Westcott's inventive, one might say pioneering or indeed buccaneering essays into kitchen craft. Westcott proudly announces his intention to transform cuisine to become an engine of alchemy, a fount of war. Westcott compares the ferocity of fire with the intensity of appetite as in essence one essence. A fire's ability to transform and destroy grows when it is offered the correct fuel. So too, he implies, can a sufficiently inspired appetite allow its possessor to consume greatly, strangely, unwisely. And Introduction to the Histories, the 17th century mystic and antiquarian Claude Hersalt describes divergent incidents in 5 major histories. The prologue warns at length of the iniquities of one Julian Cosley, a former colleague who Hersalt now describes darkly as a worm of worms. It seems Cosley advised Hersalt early in the writing of the book, but Hersalt later became suspicious. Hersalt identifies blood, silver, design, and the worms as the central axes of each of the histories, and claims that the so-called second history is the true one. so to close this all off, we will take coil and chasm. We will take coil and chasm. And the health, so satisfying to have come so far. And then the idea here is that the remaining memories will come from these other books that I'm reading, although I don't quite know which of the memories I'm going to give up yet. But all of that will be handled in the next episode. So I'm probably going to have a bit of a split in terms of making the episodes. I always feel it's good to signpost that in case something gets in the way of me doing further recording. But my hope is that I will be back. I should be back tomorrow for an extra episode. If not, it just means that something got in the way of doing the recording. But hopefully see you tomorrow. Until then, take care.